Well, here we are once again together at the wee hours of the day, or not so. Speaking of we, look who's here. Here she is, the Astro Weather cat, the indomitable Peaches. Peachy, here she is. Jasper's here as well, lending his energetic support. He's right over here off camera. You can't see him. He's taking a few Z's. They've had the morning breakfast. They've got their little routines. Peaches, it's food, poop, and pets. Jasper, it's food, poop, and sleep. I guess the eating and pooping part is exhausting at the beginning of the day. I don't blame you, buddy. You got a full belly of food. And then you just get to sleep it off. That's good. How was everyone? Let me check my audio here. I'm being conscientious. Yeah, let's see. I think. Hold on. We are here. Right here. All right, let's see what we got. Okay. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. All right. Let's do a quick roll call. Let's see what we have here today. DJ MC Scott Aon. I like turtles. Me too. Brandy Tulare from Brandy Herrera, Tulare, California. You're driving to San Jacinto. Thank you for clicking and liking the show for the algorithm. I appreciate that. Liking is a good thing if you like it. San Jacinto is one of my favorite Peter Gabriel songs. The security record is amazing. Stephanie Hunter, what's up, Stephanie Hunter? Christina Maria, very cool art. I liked it too. There's one gal in there. You can kind of see the old Oriole, the Oriole effect on one of them. Night Sight, what's happening? Night Sight, Josie's Jazz. Those are some well-built pectoral muscles. You have to have a great day after seeing this. Yeah, you know what I did? I was doing all these different images of like old kind of pagan ritual, virgin. You know, you start to just feed the AI. Oh, your peach is all the way up at the top. Wow. You start to feed the AI suggestions. And so that was sort of what I was feeding. And it gave me all these, they have all these different filters and stuff. If you never use an AI graphics illustrator, you can use different filters, and the different filters give you different images, different effects. I mean, for me, it's been a game changer. David, he gets really into it. Like you can stick your face inside of the AI, and of course, he creates characters based on that. I think I tried it one time. I mean, it's not impossible. It's easy to do. I tried it one time, and my God, it turned me into like JD Vance. I'm like, no, and not the not the kind version of JD Vance, but the unkind version of it. But anyway, I found one. It's free. I'll probably have to pay for it at some point because they start you off and they get you in, and You get to do all this stuff for free, and then they start to throttle you down, and eventually, like, man, I really like this. And this one tends to be the most, I don't know, least censorable. They will censor you. AI will, if you put something in AI and it doesn't like your language, it'll censor you, and it will tell you that it won't play. It won't play nice. Won't play fair. You have to do something else. So then you have to reword things. It's anyway. All right. Who else we have? Catherine Rosen's here. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. Misbehaving too. Ole Kobe. Janine is here. Hi, Janine. Wait, is that that little image, man? I'm telling you, there is a lot going on in that image. That little thing in the down in the, I don't know what the hell is going on down there. It's like AI is like, here, let me throw in this little homunculus man. Yeah, I tripped out on that. Here, let me just now you've got me talking about this image, because I actually think it's a really cool image, and I had to chop it off a little bit because I had to fit it into the size of the thumbnail. Let's see. Now we know we can't do that. Let me see. Let's go back. Stop sharing. And then here we go. Let's try it again. But I'm gonna show you what Triple J was referring to. Right down there. Because I spent some time looking at this image too. I'm like, there is a lot going on here. And then it's like, what is happening here? What prompted AI to create this little character who has a character? There's like another character on top, and then you got this character over here to the left. You see that? It's like, what the hell is going on here? And of course, we're getting a little racy over here. And then this is sort of the male version. And they came up with these hairdos or hats. I don't know what the hell they are, but they're cool. And even the people with their little folk hats. It's like AI takes DMT or something. There is a lot going on here. They don't always get hands right, but they're getting better. But if you're in DMT world, you don't need to get the hands right. Anyway, I actually really like this image. And like whatever's going on here. And there's this attachment to this thing. Like, what the hell is this? It almost feels like it's underwater, but it's not. And here's our goddess, our virgin goddess. Here we go. All right. Let's see who else we have here. Huggy Bear. Daniel Fargus. Let's see. Orlando's here. She's got her latest Scream up. Orlando's always a good follow on Twitter. Kelly B. What's up, Kelly B? Did I say Laura E. Susan's here? Hi, Susan. The lovely and talented one. Soul Traveler. Big Dave Sullivan. Oh, you got a blue healer. Oh. You know what's really funny, Orlando? I was on that website next door. Because I was showing my new roommate. He wasn't familiar with it, so I got on there. I've never really been a next door person, but I joined just to show him. And what was one of the first things I saw, blue healer pups being given away. So it's kind of interesting that you got a blue healer pup, and it must be blue healer season. Sweet Woodruff from Denton. Here's Tammy Lynn. Hey, Tammy Lynn. Good to see Mark S. There he is, Brother Mark. What's going on? Tom Jordan in the house. Not anymore, though. He's got a different house. It's a nice one. And he's in a beautiful part of the world. Christina Jerzik. What's up, CJ? Maya Rose. Hello, Maya. Laura E. needs energetic support too. All right. Well, Laura E., we send you energetic support. There you go. Much love to you, Laura E. Lenny Lou. I like those dogs. Let's see. Desley gave herself permission to lay in this morning. Well, you do that. You just lay in. You're good. You are good. Sonrisa Chica, hello from Ohio. You got a Black Lab Healer mix. That's the best. That's probably the best mix there is. It's probably right about 45, 50 pounds, maybe. 40 to 45 pounds. That's a great mix. Very portable and will defend you to the death. Neil Smith checking in. The most interesting man in Wisconsin. And there she is. Janice Phillips. JP. What's up, JP? Hanging Laundry. Kabuki Theater. Hi, Bo. Good to see Doug Rowe. Is sound engineering taught or inherited? I think you have an ear, Robert. I don't know, man. I love music, for sure. Let's see. Diane Evans. Hi, Diane. We're all working through the grand versus morning part. Don't worry about it. Glad to see him feeling better. Thank you, Leanne. Yeah, it's been an interesting road, and we're still on it. Let's put it that way. Elsbeth Heron, hello, Elsbeth. What's going on? Scrubby's checking in. What's going on, Tamara? Zerlath. Lurk and work. Amy Gill. What's going on, Amy? I think we're caught up. Oh, Wit. Wow, 4 months with Jake and the kids. Wow. It's been that long. Good times, lots of memories. Toila Carissa. Hi, Toila Carissa. Vivi's with us today. Yeah, man, we got a all-star crew. Oh, can't go anywhere without bringing that little Dead Wolf Resistance 13 to the table. Got to keep it reals. All right, let's get into the weather today. So before we get into the weather today, let's talk about yesterday. Because yesterday was kind of a big deal. I was looking at that Aries moon yesterday, and geez, man, did you guys see what happened in Poland? It's like we're on the brink of World War III. Did you see this? So essentially, what happened is that the Russians crossed over the NATO line and blew some shit up in Poland. Meanwhile, one of the heads of state from Poland, I might have even been the PM, or basically burned the EU flag. Did you guys see that? Burned the EU flag. Russia is, you think of a situation like that. He's burning the EU flag. Russia comes in. And the reason why they did that is because they're staging the war effort in Ukraine from Poland. That's where NATO is, right? NATO is right at the Polish-Ukrainian border. And they set up places to be very early on. Places to be, that's pretty vague. They set up bases. They set up bases shortly after this thing kicked up again in 2022. It was one of the first things they did, is they set up a command and control center in Poland. And it's still there. So it's sort of like the Cambodia of the Vietnam War, and how the Vietnamese would stage their offensives out of Cambodia, thus violating the rules of engagement. They could do it, but of course we couldn't. Anyway, Russia said, well, enough of this. We're going to shut this down. So they sent in a drone strike and did some damage yesterday. That is almost like an overt act of war. Okay, let's just look at that for a second. That all happened yesterday. Moon in Aries. We still have it, don't we? Yep. And today it's even worse. So there's that. Apparently France is going nuts. They're shutting the country down, which they do from time to time. So France is going nuts. There seems to be a high degree of chaos happening in the Macron family. Gee, I wonder why, in the Macron administration. Now, all of a sudden, Macron is coming out and recognizing Palestine. Really? Netanyahu has had a criminal sentence around his neck in France for a long time. It was like the world court, basically. The only country Netanyahu can travel to is the United States. If he steps foot in any other country in the world, he'll be arrested. That's why you never see him going to England or France or Italy, or he only goes to the United States. I mean, look at it. Look at he's got frequent flyer miles. Anyway, major shit going down yesterday. And we haven't even gotten to this stabbing, which I haven't really talked about, because we're dealing with something very strange with this stabbing thing. I am going to get into it over on 15 Minutes of Flame today, which will happen fairly soon, so I can't dilly-dally too much. 9:10 a.m. over on Rumble. Yeah, so there's this stabbing arena from Ukraine. Very weird. It's very, very strange. Even the video footage is very strange. And the astrological backdrop behind all this is war. It's war. And it's not just one war. It is total war. It is an, we talk about inflammation with people. It's the inflammation of the planet. The planet is going through a highly inflamed state. Saturn and Neptune and Aries are inflamed. Aries is flammable, inflammatory. And apparently this thing happened in August on the 22nd. And here we are, it's the 10th. Yesterday is the 9th, 999. The outrage is just starting to boil and peak. And it's a really, really tricky place to be. Because Saturn has retrograded back into Pisces. And when you get into that Pisces territory, love you Pisces, but when you get into that Pisces territory, things are not always as they seem. So we're talking total war. That would be war on many, many different fronts. You saw what happened in Nepal, the burning, right? Apparently some Muslims went into Nepal, resettled in Nepal, and burned down one of their temples or shrines. Pretty nasty. But this goes back a ways. You remember the giant Buddhas that they had in Afghanistan? Do you guys know the story? These giant Buddhas in Afghanistan. Like, what the fuck? Where do these giant Buddhas come from? And I believe Al Qaeda blew them up. Start with the faces. Do you know that story? They blew them up. These giant Buddhas. The giant Buddhas of Afghanistan. One of the first things they did when they got into power was to destroy these idols. So there's not a lot of patience for the Buddhist world and the Muslim world, apparently. And I just keep feeling like there's these major redirects going on right now, because things aren't always what they seem. So now we're back into the reverse George Floyd with the arena from the Ukraine in Charlotte. But there was another heinous act where a teacher from Auburn, the college, not only got stabbed but hacked up, and we haven't heard about that. But they're pushing this subway thing, and you can tell it's bad when Jason Whitlock gets on. It's not subway; it's public transit, right, in Charlotte. You can tell it's bad when Jason Whitlock gets on Twitter and starts telling people to pray. Here we are. We're starting to get a fix on the beast. We're starting to get a fix on the beast. We're being able to speak the unspeakable. And the number of people that are doing it is quite overwhelming. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I had a moment. I could have been a lot more crude there, but I want to keep you listeners. This language is important. So that's going on. right? That is happening. My mind went somewhere else. Let me clarify what that is. That is redirecting our attention from the problem at hand, which is the control group that has essentially taken over media, banking, pharmaceutical, agra, politics. Don't look over there. Look over here. What's over here? Well, over here is the reprobate black criminal who has been released from incarceration multiple times, and the ritual slaughter of the white goddess. When you look at Irina, I can't remember her last name. I could have used her for the thumbnail. She is this is all happening in Virgo, right? And when we see her picture, it's like there's this sense of, oh my God, look how beautiful, look how young and beautiful she is. She's white, she's got blonde hair, she's got blue eyes. So she's like a ritual sacrifice. If indeed it's even occurred, which I'm going to dip my toe into that water on 15 Minutes of Flame. But that's happening now, right? It's like the dialogue is about black people. We can't live around black. We can't have nice things. And Nick Fuentes went on for about an hour and a half on this. And look, some of this is a conversation that has to happen. I'm not sure it's being inflamed is the best time for it to happen. But it's like divide and conquer. This is what the darkness is really good at, dividing and conquering. Oh, you're getting a little too close to the flame there. How about these Muslims? You really better pay attention to them. Isn't it interesting that within the span of like 72 hours, you have this chick in Dubai set up for a 50 gram of coke deal, literally a deal. She was running drugs. She gets set up, and she's not a virgin. She is so-called white. Lots of augmentation. But nonetheless, right, it's the Muslims. What do you expect? You take cocaine into Dubai, you're going to get popped for it. And the penalties are stiff. But then you have this thing happening in Nepal. Oh my God, these Muslims are horrible. But then you have this thing in Charlotte, which sounds a lot like Charlottesville. It's Charlottesville without the Ville. So they got us looking in this direction, right? And this is all very like 29 degrees Pisces. It's sacrificial. This is the degree of the crucifixion right here, right? We've talked about this before. And the degree of the crucifixion is the final degrees of Jesus on the cross right? There's nothing left. The entire zodiacal body has been drained. Thus the Piscean age. And then what happens after that happens? Well, roll away the stone, resurrection, Easter, Aries energy, rebirth. That's what happens. It's the next sign over. So the crucifixion and the resurrection is an astrological act as well as a metaphysical one. So that's where we are. We're at that degree. There are idols. And right now it's the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white goddess, formerly from Ukraine. So we're still in this energy. We're still in this heavy energy. Today, it's even more intense. We got the moon right there at 25 degrees. So now it's in square with Pluto. Square with Jupiter. Everybody's over emotional. Holy shit. I can't believe how triggered some people are too. I had this exchange on Twitter yesterday, and there's some person, like if there are some people that if you drop in on their threads and you don't say the right thing, they will have a fucking hissy fit. And I dropped in on this thread. It's like, the worst thing anyone can do can be unemployed. I don't know about that. Sometimes I know it sucks not having money. I've been poor a couple times over. But there are worse hells. Believe it or not. Being unemployed, there are worse hells. So I just brought one up. I said, what's really bad is if you're a salesperson and you're in a drought and you can't sell anything. And it's like he thought that I was projecting. No, anyway. I don't mean to. It's just weird. That's how triggery all the energy is right now. Hair fucking trigger. It's like you're projecting. Just because you can't book any clients, what the fuck are you talking about? I did $3,000 last week. So who cares? I mean, I don't want to go there, but sometimes, there are millennial astrologers, and some of them I really love. Heather Eland, my top student, super success story, millennial. She has a bunch of young astrologers her age working for her, millennials. They're good. They're good at what they do. But sometimes millennial astrologers when I say millennials, I'm talking about Pluto and Scorpio. They get hooked into magic. They get hooked into magic in a way that is almost embarrassing. And it almost becomes like, it's just weird. Just weird. And I don't, it's like, this is a work for me. It's a business. I don't want to alienate anybody. Like, I don't want to say this. We all have our issues. Okay. Let's put it that way. Every generation, there is no perfect generation. Although I have to say, I really like Gen X's outer planets. Even Pluto and Libra, which is a detriment. I still like it. So I don't want to alienate anybody, because I don't want to alienate anybody in general. I mean, I feel like we all have something valid to bring to the table. But there are times when millennials get in their bag and it's all about, it's very occult. They're very, very occult. Hey, if it works for you, whatever. So, but it was one of those days like, whoa, dude got triggered. There's a lot of triggering going on. And today is only going to be, I think, more intense. And sometimes sometimes you just have to drop the A-bomb. And you don't, it's not like I take great pleasure over being an asshole. I had to be an asshole yesterday too. And it had nothing to do with that tweet. But I had to be an asshole yesterday. And it had to do with Boxcast. This is Mars and Libra. There's astrology in here. Just stay with me. And Boxcast I don't use anymore for a number of reasons, but mostly because it doesn't fit with the model. And I wanted to stop paying for it. I wanted to get out of and I didn't know that I had a year-to-year contract. News to me. I thought you sign up and you just terminate, which happened before. I terminated before and it wasn't a problem. When I signed up again, I guess they changed the terms and conditions. So I check in and say, hey, can I put this on hold? Because I'm not sure what to do. I just don't want you to charge me anymore. He goes, no, you can't really put it on hold. I said, well, can I cancel? Well, you're locked into March. I'm like, what? I said, I'm not going to use this. Well, the early termination fee is this and that. And I'm like, can't you negotiate with me here? This is a guy, it's a human, by the way. And it's on chat, text chat inside of Boxcast. And he was just like saying, look, here's your contract. Too bad, buddy. I'm like, what kind of way is this to run a business? I said, okay, look, I'll cut you a deal. And this is before he sent me the contract. I said, you keep me signed up through November. That's fine. So you got September, October, November, 3 months. You get 3 months where I'm not using your service. And just stop me after 3 months. You just stop me after 3 months. And that's when he sends me PDFs of my contract. I'm like, what are you doing? And I guess he's never had anybody sort of negotiate with him before. And I said, I almost said, is this the hill you want to die on? And I didn't. I said, is this the hill you want to stand on? Because I don't know what you mean. I said, because you're forcing me to consider other options to get out of this deal. And I said, look, I got 5,000 followers on Twitter. A lot of them are content creators. I have no problem taking a dump on you guys at least once a week. Is that what you want? Because I can do that. See, that was like the energy. I didn't want to go there. Like, you don't really want to have to go there and be a dick about it. But it's like it was the only leverage I had. And guess what? I got out of the contract. Based on what I thought was fair. I'll give you 3 months of my money and I won't use your service. But he agreed to it. You see, that's Mars and Libra. Like, that's leverage. And here's the problem. Most people don't have any leverage in their life. I had a little leverage and I used it to my advantage. I'm not really that proud of it. In the moment, I kind of got off, right? Like, yeah, fuck you, right? But afterwards, like, I just, I got 3 planets in Libra. I like to be, cool with things. I don't want to have to be a dick. But I played the dick card and it worked. And that's the challenge that we as people have, is we don't have much leverage. Once we vote these people into office, we lose all of our leverage. They'll say anything. They'll do anything, apparently, for our vote, and nothing ever comes of it. So they completely abandon us, every single one of them. Although Trump is making a case study for the most schizophrenic Gemini I've ever seen, historically. But that's the challenge we have. We have very little leverage. It's not like we want to be Al Capone and just push people around. But in that moment, I needed to use it. Mars-Pluto square. Mars coming in more and more. Mars is going to go into Scorpio. My God. Squaring Pluto. And we're already at this incredibly tense point. And it just feels, like everything's going to be total. This is my sense, right? Based on the inflammatory nature of the planet. We're headed towards a total war state. And when I say total war, I'm talking everything from burning down buildings and structures in Nepal to France being shut down, to the tensions with Ukraine and Russia escalating. What about Israel? Israel fires missiles into Qatar. And Trump has to apologize and tells the Qataris it'll never happen again. Because the Trump administration relies on that Saudi money. And I know Qatar is not Saudi, but we're going to throw them in the Saudi money camp. So just think of this thing as like a bloom of red algae. How will people deal with that? Because we're getting closer. We're getting closer to the truth. The truth has this inconvenient way of popping up its ugly head. We're getting closer to the truth. And when you get closer to the truth, things get more dangerous. Much more dangerous. Because the people that are controlling so-called reality want to stay in control. And they'll do anything at their power and disposal in order to do it, including burning the place down, hitting the reset button. So we have this Mars-Pluto square going on right now, and it's only going to get more intense. And when Mars goes into Scorpio, this is really the challenge, right? This is this inflamed Mars. And you've got all these people getting worked up about the death of this person, Irina, in Charlotte. And it's a really weird place to be. Justice. We want justice. We want to have a cause. So now you've got Elon Musk and you have Andrew Tate promising to pay people for murals of Irina all across the country, all across the world. It's a virgin sacrifice. In the month of Virgo. And yesterday on 999, it was fucking peaking into the red. But as this builds up, it's almost the murderous lynch mob rage. When that Mars goes into Scorpio, fixed sign squaring Pluto, Vendetta City. V for Vendetta. So that's what's going on in the world. And what's happening is we're becoming so interconnected with the world that these events now bleed into our psyche, our spirits, and we have to be very careful and conscious and aware of what we let in. You don't want to be an ostrich, but at the same time, you have to ask yourself why this is happening now. For an event that happened on August 22nd, why is it happening now? And to what end? And there are so many people, so-called white people, that are outraged. The outrage is brewing, right? This, you can see it, you can feel it, it's palpable. It's Mars and Libra trying to balance the scales. And it's a potentially a very heavy energy. Now, to be honest, our society helped create that problem. When Lyndon Johnson created the Great Society, which was basically the welfare state, when he created it, he set something in motion that was, it was inevitable that the chickens would come home to roost, and they're coming home to roost now. It was a system of entitlement and enabling. And the ironic part is that Johnson was a total racist. He didn't do any of that for the so-called black population. He lived on a fucking ranch, Johnson City. The only so-called blacks that he ever saw were driving through the motorcade in Washington, D.C., or if he had to go to some city somewhere and show up and give some kind of, other than that, his world was about as lily fucking white as it could get. And so what the whole Great Society, war on poverty, all the things that LBJ put into action was his way of absolving his own racism. And so here we are way down the line, and the society of entitlement has become very problematic. In fact, it's metastasized. And look, could other people from other groups fall to those kinds of conditions? Quite possibly. You enable any group enough, and then what will happen? They'll have expectations. They'll have expectations about what it is they deserve out of life. And then you have the inflammatory political rhetoric of Black Lives Matter, which comes in much later, which stirs everything up. And then that's part of the story of how we got here. I really want to encourage people to be able to not turn away from how this thing got set up and how it has gone inverse in terms of equity and equality. There's an inverse model at work here. I don't think people should lose sight of that. On the other hand, I think people also need to be very aware of the fact that we can be played so easily, and certain groups can take a fall. Certain people can take a fall, and they're being set up so that other groups don't want to have the scrutiny or the attention directed towards them. All right, I'm not going to run the banner because we're a little bit behind, but your True Hemp Science star of the day is none other than Charles Kuralt. And Charles Kuralt was a treasure. First of all, let me talk about a little bit of moonlight. Moonlight. These are some of the great gummies that come through our good friend Chris at True Hemp Science. 111 milligrams of CBG, 60 milligrams of CBD, and 2.3 milligrams of THC. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're going to have an experience here. I don't know if you've ever seen one of the gummies. Let me show you one. This is what they look like. It's like the electric Kool-Aid acid test. And they're fantastic. You can get them over at True Hemp Science, as well as the tinctures and all kinds of other goodies that make our life a whole lot better. Anyway, all you got to do is type in 15MINS when you buy $100 or more. You'll get a goodie bag, and you'll get something that looks like this, Starlight, and some other neat little things thrown in with your order. There's always a 30-day money-back guarantee, by the way. All right, let's spend the rest of the time here talking about Charles Kuralt. By the way, today is Arnold Palmer's birthday as well, the great one. Charles Kuralt was a treasure. He was, if you had been partying on Saturday night, and you either stayed up too late or you managed to wake up early, you caught his show Sunday morning, which was wonderful. It was gentle. The stories were not abrasive. They were stories of the quirky nature of Americans, or the heroic, the quiet heroism of Americans. Charles Kuralt found those stories. He was known for On the Road, which was, again, his journey into America. He was not abrasive. He was not confrontational. He was there to find unique people, unique stories, and tell their tale. His son is fascinating. Like, his whole chart is fascinating. When you get into, first thing, he's a Taurus rising, and there are two types of Taurus risings for men and women. For men and women, there's the kind of Adonis Taurus rising, where guys are kind of buff. They're just naturally buff. They're built that way. And the women look like Aphrodite. And then there's the more stocky, sort of earthy, farmy version of Taurus rising. That's Charles Kuralt. He's in the latter. And he has Pallas conjunct his ascendant. So he had great radar for people and great radar for stories. You can see where things were headed, even minor little trends or minor little patterns. And if you look at his sun, there's like hardly anything going on with his sun. He's got the Neptune conjunction down here in Virgo. In the 5th house, he's gentle. He's a gentle guy. All you had to do is wake up on Sunday morning and just like, oh man, please just don't go away. The splitting headache, you're making my splitting headache feel so much better. I never have splitting headaches, by the way. And then he's got Chiron in Gemini. So he's quirky. And he's again, On the Road. That's the name of one of his famous contributions to journalism. It's Gemini. And there he's got Mercury and the moon in Libra, and he's got this gentle and kind way of telling his tale. Jupiter in Libra, it's the highest planet in his chart. And it's in the 6th house, and it's about people. Right? Libra is a very people sign. It's a very people-oriented sign. Libras make the best salespeople, by the way. Sales and PR, Libra. That's who you want. Just keep your eye on them. So Charles Kuralt, he expands, right? He expands through the storytelling aspect of the American landscape. And what's interesting is that his series is conjunct the U.S. sun in Cancer. And so it's nurturing, right? He provides a nurture. You know, if he was a metaphorical media gardener, he was the guy that was adding water to our story. He was the methodical one watering the plants or watering the narrative, especially in the 3rd house, because it's communicating. And what he shared was nurturing. What he shared was pretty wholesome. He harkens back to a very different time, a world that didn't know the internet. But they knew Sunday morning, and Charles Kuralt took people places on the road. And the places he took us were almost always uplifting. And if not uplifting, he made us feel something. And he had that Taurus rising, he had that voice, which was, you know, he sounded very grounded. He was never felt like he was in a hurry. And I think he loved humanity. His Venus and Leo, conjunct Regulus. He loved humanity. And he has that Saturn true node conjunction in Aquarius in the 10th house. He was in the game for a long time. It was like you just expected this guy's never going to go away. He's been around forever. He looked like this for years. And he's probably like 30 years old there. Right? He looked like this for years. You just thought he'll never go away. We'll always be able to turn the TV on Sunday morning and he'll be there. And he'll help us make sense of the world. We need more Charles Kuralts. In a world where you had Geraldo Rivera's and Bill O'Reilly, whose birthday it is today, by the way. Today is Bill O'Reilly's birthday. He's the anti-Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly shouts and bloviates. Charles Kuralt quietly, almost meditatively, shared the American experience with us. And he is missed. I think he had a rough life growing up. He's got Mars in the 4th house. Pluto conjunct the IC. I think Charles saw a few things growing up. Mars Uranus square. He's a quiet rebel. He was a quiet rebel. Anyway, there you go. Here's your True Hemp Science story of the day. Charles Kuralt, Sunday morning on the road. We miss you, Charlie. You're on the big road now. All right. We're out of here. It's a war out there. Keep your head on a swivel. I kind of mean it. They've opened up a can of whoop ass now. But, question what's happening. Pump the brakes. Question. I've had to do it myself. We'll be talking more about this over on 15. All right. For now, I'm out of here. God bless you. Love you all. Treat each other well. Take good care. Bye for now.